Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I am with from SoPea Bath and Body, so I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi everyone, I'm Chrissie. I am the owner and creator and maker of all things fun and bubbly from SoPea Bath and Body. I make soap, bath bombs, shampoo bars, lip balms, shower steamers, all of the different things, with the idea that it's created for people with sensitive skin in mind. So that is me.
Cool. That sounds cool. And is that your full-time job? Or do you do something else?
Hopefully it will be one day. I'm working towards that. So currently I am a call handler in the police. So I take 999 calls, 101 calls. So this is like completely different. So this is kind of my head emptying space and bringing the nice things again, because it can be quite a stressful job. It's very rewarding, but it can be sometimes quite traumatic with the things that you hear, and imagination runs really wild when you're on those calls. So having this as an escape, a bit of mental health, self-care, self-soothing, it's been a bit of a lifesaver myself actually. So yeah, it's good.
Oh yeah, I'll get on to sort of mental health and all of this a bit later on, because I think a lot of people doing this sort of have that. But I was going to ask you, said before we did arrange this, you said something about bees. Do you keep bees?
They arrived yesterday.
Okay.
Extremely excited. Yes. So I am now a bee mama.
So is this going to take a part in your making? Are you going to use the honey for any of your products and things?
Yes. So at the moment, I make a honeybee soap, and I put honey in a shampoo bar. And I use the beeswax for my lip balms. I use at the moment a local company. I say a local company, it's a local farm. I can see it from my house. It's down in the valley. They have bees themselves, and I use their honey in my products. And at the moment I'm buying in beeswax from ingredient suppliers, but the idea is hopefully at the end of this season I'll have a little bit that I can keep for SoPea Bath and Body. It won't be a lot, but just so it's 100% come from here, which is really nice. And I can say I had a part to play in that, and that I know that they've been treated well, and it's just a little bit of added extra layer of me into all of that. So
that's a nice USP for the business actually. Like
I like it.
How nice. So what's a typical day when you're working on the business? What's that look like? What do you do in a day?
Chaos, total chaos. So it's a tricky one, because I've obviously got the day job, and it's shift work, and it's a pattern. So my days off really are all over the place. So it's not a standard Monday to Friday job. It rotates over 10 days. So my days off can be literally all over the place. So of a weekday, if I've got the days off, that will be planning the production for any events that I've got coming up at the end of the week, if I need to restock stuff. So if I'm low on some bath bombs and things, I'll crack those out. It's literally just finding what I've got low on stock wise, and then just hustling to try and get those made in time. So at the minute it's chaos. I'm hoping by the end of May, when I go part-time in my day job, it will give me more time to then be a little bit more structured. So that's going to be nice, because the hustle and the chaos is a lot. It's stressful.
So you are growing
sometimes.
it at the moment then? You're aiming to go full time?
Yes. Oh yes, yeah. One day that would be amazing.
Do you find the online stuff is sells well, or do you do better from markets?
I do better from markets. So the online is there, and it ticks over nicely. It keeps me busy, which is good. I've got a monthly box that I do different goodies in each month, so that's ticking over quite nicely, giving me a little bit of extra income.
I was going to ask you about that actually, because with our regulations and needing CPSRs and for everything, then subscription boxes are something I've thought about, but I always thought they'd be quite hard to do, because you either need to get a new CPSR each month, which means you need a lot of subscription sales to cover that as well, or you're sort of finding a way to make it interesting each month. So how do you, what do you offer?
So my subscription boxes are basically a kind of a little look into what I've already got. So it may well be that it's already on the website, available to actually get, or it's things that I have planned to actually put on the website and obviously sell and things like that I've already got the CPSRs for, but nobody knows about it yet apart from me. And then the subscribers get to try it, and then they give me all the feedback, and then I'm like, yeah, this is a good one, let's release that at that time then to everybody else. If it's the stuff that's already on the website, I would usually give it like in trial size so that they can try those things out. It's usually a soap, a bath product of some form, home fragrance something, and a few other little bits, and then I'll add in a couple of little extra goodies as well, whether it's for this month it's the sleepy head, so the extra goodie this month is an eye mask, so like a sleeping eye mask, and we've got pillow spray, so it's nice. I try and keep it interesting with the theme of you know, where we are in the year, what season it is, or if it's a particular flavour I want to do. So it's I've got to be really ahead of myself.
So it's kind of like a discovery box.
It is a discovery box, yes.
We're both in the UK, and I know a lot of people watching my channel aren't. So how do you find the regulations over here?
Oh my gosh. I have many a time just wanted to go and move to America. It's crazy bonkers. I get it. I fully understand it, because it's safety and all of those things, and it's great. It's just, I think if we had this regulation like across the world, it wouldn't be a problem, because then everybody's singing off the same hymn sheet, and then it wouldn't have been such a surprise to me when I realised I need these things. And right at the very beginning, I was like, oh, is this something I really want to delve into? Because this is a lot, and this is a lot for my brain. And so so I understand it. I totally get it. I find it frustrating, but there are companies out there that do make it a lot easier. It can be done. You can do it bit by bit. I wish I did it bit by bit. Credit cards are not the way. I
made that mistake in a previous business, but that was in the other video.
Yes, I've done that many a time on many businesses, and that's slowly and steadily wins the race, I think the term goes. And I just wanted to go all in right at the beginning, and I kind of wish I didn't, because I've changed my formulation so much over the year, affected them, that if I'd just taken that little bit of time in the beginning to get everything perfect, like you're doing at the moment, you're actually like properly formulating and taking time, which is the right way to do things.
It's because I've done it the wrong way in the past, and I see a lot of people come to me on Patreon and things, and they're like, oh, I want to start my own skincare range, and they list like a product list about that long, and you're like, just pick one, literally just pick one, and do a few variants of it and release that and do well at that, and then move to the next thing. Otherwise you end up wasting so much in ingredients, and all your money just goes down the drain, literally down the drain.
And making things in small batches rather than let's do a full kilo of this thing straight away.
Unless you've got a lot of friends to give it to.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But
I tell you what annoys me the most is the and I get why, but it's the percentage fragrance in cold process soap. Drives me insane. The amount of money I have spent on fragrance oils to test them to just get no fragrance at all at maximum percentage. And it infuriates me because you'll go into Lush and everything smells so strong.
Really strong.
And I know they use quite a lot of essential oils and things, and actually they don't tend to hold as well as fragrance oils. So I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I have found some.
But that's good.
Yeah, but just I quite like strong smelling soaps, and I will have a range of like medium, mild and strong, but they all just seem to smell of nothing. And you're like and then all the American and Canadian YouTubers are like dumping in 5%.
Dump them in! I know! How much are you putting in? That always shocks me, always. And I'm like, I mean, for me, thankfully, because of the way my customer base is, and I'm on the side of making things for people with sensitive skin and for those who've got sensitive nostrils as well, the scent isn't as important as how it looks and performs. So my customers are happy as long as there's a hint of a smell, they're happy, and so am I. And like I say, a lot of my customer base are people that have got skin sensitivities, that can't have strong fragrances and things because of all the allergens and all of that. So they're just really grateful that they can have something that's fun looking, that is still smells nice, but not to the point where it's going to be causing skin irritation or irritation to their nostrils. Lots of my customers suffer with migraines and they get triggers from fragrance. So for them to come back to me after they've tried and then stock up, that's like the biggest compliment
that's
ever.
Brilliant.
There's a lady that I'm going to digress here, but it makes me smile and it made me cry at the same time. So I was at a market and this girl came along with her mum. Mum's got lots of health issues and she was using like the medicated body washes and creams and things, and she was just miserable with it. And she saw that it was everything made for sensitive skin, and I could tell that she really wanted to have a smell of things and touch and play, but I could tell that she was really nervous as well. So I spoke to her a little bit about it, and I'm like, well, I've got a completely unfragranced and coloured range. Whilst you're standing here and chatting, why not just get a little bit of the body butter, put it on the back of your hand and see how you go with that? And she did, and she stood there and she's staring at her hand waiting for a reaction because that's all she's ever known, and nothing happened. And I could see her welling up. I'm like, "You all right, sweetheart?" And she's like, I don't understand. I'm like, that's because there's nothing nasty in it, unless you're allergic to the specific ingredients that are in there, and it's all butters and oils, nothing's going to happen. Wow. And she was like, can I try something with fragrance in? I was like, oh yes. So we did, and it's actually one of my strongest fragrances, a coconut and lime, call it Cocoa Lime Cooler. And she put a little bit on and she stood there like really worried and scared and everything, and nothing happened. And she was just blown away. She was like, I'll have this and this. She took away all of the things, came back the following month, I want some more, I want to try different things. And honestly, I bawled my eyes out because she was just, we did hugs, it was wonderful. And it's just like that, even just if she was my only customer, it makes it fully worth it. Honestly, it was the most rewarding experience. Because she's just only ever known medicated smells and creams, and it doesn't really do anything for your body. She's now got all of these lovely things that she can try, and she's a super happy lady, and she comes back time and time again, which is fantastic.
That's brilliant.
I know,
that's what it's about. It's about making a difference in some way, isn't it?
It is.
But that's
so
I
lovely.
say to people, this is a reason it's good to do markets, because you get that face to face with people and you get to chat to them about your product and they can see your passion coming through. And they get to demo them, because I think you can't smell through a computer screen. So
exactly.
A bit harder to test things in COVID, but
that's another subject.
Were you doing this during COVID then?
Yep.
Yeah.
So my main income at the time for SoPea was face-to-face in people's homes. I was doing home-based parties. So I would make a killing going into someone's home, bringing all of my stuff. What would you like, literally passing around all of the things, a little bit like a Tupperware party or any other kind of at home party that you could think of that I've done as well. So experience. So that was, so to have that stripped away was crazy. And then I moved on from in-home parties to online parties, because that's all really that I knew, apart from the occasional market that I was doing. And that did okay, but it was
How did you do those?
Same. Oh, it was Facebook Lives.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so it would be like everybody would invite their own group of friends. I'd say, would you like to be a host of a party? Yes, this is what you would get, depending on the sales and all of those things. And they'd invite all of their friends to it. We'd sit down at a set period of time. I'd be in my soaping room with all of my goodies next to me. And it's really tricky to describe the things to someone through a screen. I am not good with words. I talk a lot, but I'm not good with actually describing anything, which is why I think I'm better face to face with people, because I'm like, just try it, it's amazing. They could just tell through the enthusiasm. And so we would do the party, and then they would put their orders through me through Messenger. We'd do a couple of games online as well, so that was interesting.
That's a really
Facebook
innovative thing
in a group.
To do, like, you definitely made the most
of it.
Well, I mean, my last chat I was saying about me before COVID and stuff, because all the soaping and everything was a hobby, and I've been enjoying that for myself for years. But then I was a hairdresser and hair extension technician and teacher.
Wow.
And then the pandemic just shut down the entire industry. So pivoting it was.
Oh yes, absolutely. Lots of those.
So
I'm just really glad that I had the full-time job at the time, because without it, and with the industry that I'm in the main job, it did not shut. It just got busier, with lots of people reporting breaches and all sorts was majority of the calls. And
really? Oh, God.
That and domestics, because nobody was going out of their homes.
No.
So it's they were all just in each other's laps all the time, annoying each other.
I had when we did open back up, I did have some hair extension clients that said they'd got divorced during lockdown and things like that. There's quite a few of them. And then of course I lost a lot of clients, because people get used to living without them, and then they're like, oh, hair extensions are a luxury, don't need that anymore. So when it opened back up, I think I had 40 plus clients before the pandemic, and I opened back up with 10, and now I have 1.
Oh wow.
And cost of living and everything, it just hasn't really gone back up, and people like different types of extensions, and I do the very old school method because I'm old. Which is the best one, but not people go through phases. They'll either like tape hair or wefts or whatever, and then what I do kind of goes out of fashion. So I'm getting I get osteoarthritis in my fingers from it, because it's a lot of that motion constantly. So I stopped and just thought, you know what, I'll do the cosmetics thing. I enjoy that, and actually I'm probably happier now than I have been in a long time.
That's amazing.
Like you said, with mental health, it is an outlet, I think.
Oh, it is.
Being creative. I was watching one of your videos, and I will put a clip of it up here.
Oh God, which one?
Your soap making, it was a seaside, like sand and sea soap.
Yes.
That was incredible.
Thank you.
Like, you really, I really love your designs, but that one just stood out. It was, where do you spend a lot of time planning the designs for them? Or
I would like to say yes. So when you see those videos, that's the first time I make the soap. So that's my testing and making sure, that is the first time. Okay. So I think I've only ever put another video out, like second time round, for a rainbow and a coffee soap. The other ones are all first timers. And I've got loads of others that I've filmed and I haven't edited, and they need to go on the YouTubes, because they're still in my phone. But those ones are first time designs, and they always turn out the best. And I have to go back and watch the video to know how I did the last thing. Because I forget. I'm just like, I'm creative in the moment. But that one, I knew roughly the colours that I wanted. I knew roughly what I wanted to do. I didn't want to do the sand first, then the sea on top. Or did I do it that way around? I actually don't know. I probably did. Whatever way they normally do it, I didn't want to do it that way. And yeah, I just make sure that I make really good notes. And if it turns out well, that then goes into the next plan for the next CPSR bundle that I do. So it's, whilst they're curing, the paperwork is being done.
The paperwork.
So I do things a little bit backwards, I think, but you know, there have been a couple where they've not worked out to be able to be assessed. So I'm like, well, that's just gifts for friends and family then. Lots of freebies.
A lot of those. I've got a lot of those on the shelf at the moment.
Oh yes, yeah. I call them chef's perks, because if I don't, then it's a waste.
Yeah. Well, I've been testing everything for months, well, over a year and a half now, actually, and I've got a list of all the ones I want to get assessed. So now it's just saving up because the expense of it, trying to find a sort of cost-effective way to do it, and which is usually getting as many done at once as you can to get bulk discounts, but then that means a big lot of money up front.
It does, sadly. And if you want to do extra ingredients on top of the amounts that they allow you in the assessment itself, you then have to pay extra on top of that, which I've done a lot of the time. Because I like the way the design shows up, and I'm like, I am not compromising on that design. I will pay extra for you because you are beautiful.
Well, I absolutely adore that one. Have you still got that one on your website? Do you still sell that one?
No, I've sold out of that one, but that is on the production list, so it will be done. Hopefully it will be ready for summertime.
Since we're sort of like talking about regulations and things, I get quite a few people talk about like the overwhelm of it. And I know I definitely had that when I first decided to do this professionally. And that's kind of what led me to doing the helping others understand it route, because the things I sell, I made for myself. I literally made myself an ebook because I thought, do you know what, I've got to gather all this information and put it in one place for myself. So that's where the how to legally run a cosmetics business ebook came from. That was for me. I just thought this could help other people. And the same with the templates and stuff. It's just the way I figure, if I've got templates for everything, then as long as I've done that much, it's just a case of like filling in the blanks for each one. It makes it a lot quicker. But it is overwhelming. I get why a lot of people suddenly think, I don't want to do this.
Yes. It's it is a big task to undertake. And I was telling you about in our email that I had someone that was doing all of the paperwork and everything for me, because it was just so much. And now I'm at a point where that I have to now do it myself due to circumstances, and I'm feeling that overwhelm again. But I love this industry so much that I'm going to have to, and I want to put in that effort to make sure everything's all done properly. So it's yes, all the new stuff that's going to be coming out, that'll all be 100% me doing all of that paperwork. And
I think it's the portal.
I tried it in the beginning and I was just like, wow.
I think it's the portal that throws people initially, because they seem to like just when you get the hang of it, they change it again. And there's a lot of, I think it was the poisons things that you have to declare as poisons, and some of the things you're like, well, I don't know what that is.
I wouldn't know.
I think it needs to be a little bit more user friendly.
It really does, especially as like us creatives, majority of us are spicy brains, so it's it's very it's true though, like whether it's ADHD, ASD, whatever it may well be, all of the different things, like those things are really not user friendly for our types of brains, and it can become completely overwhelming for people that they either don't do things right or they just completely give up because it's just too much. It's really sad, because if they'd made things a little bit easier for us to actually do things the right way, there'd be a lot more of us doing really good work and creating some fantastic things.
I think what I'll do as part of my product launch series is because I'm doing my launch in real time. So when I get to the point wwhere I'm putting stuff on the portal, I'll be filming that for YouTube as part of that series. But of course, by the time it goes out, it probably would have changed. So it'll be good for about 5 minutes, and then it'll be different again. But But there you go. There are people that can do this stuff for you. So I think there's the cosmetic regulator on Instagram. She offers like RP and PIF and everything services. There's ceway.eu. There's MAF Cosmetics, I think people recommend as well. And I see they just offer they do PIF writing, and they also do reporting on the portal as like separate things as well. So like anyone really stuck there, there's options. It just means more money, unfortunately, but you can't expect someone to sit there and do that there for you for free, because it's not fun.
I was very lucky that I had that person for free for a while, and very grateful to that person for doing all of that for me, because I honestly don't think I would have got to this stage where I am now without that help. I mean, it might, maybe, I don't know, but it just allowed me to concentrate on being creative, which was a big thing. But yeah, I'm with MAF Cosmetics for my next chunk of goodies that's coming out, so they will be getting lots of emails from me like, how do I do this, please? Please help me. Think
once you've done it once, then you can kind of replicate it then, especially if it's soap and then just change fragrance quite often. I think it's just once you get your head around it, it just kind of becomes autopilot, I find, until the portal changes.
I actually feel quite bad for those that are in America at the moment, because there's lots of talk about all of their cosmetics and things becoming regulated, and they're so used to just being able to make and then sell, that they're going to have to now do what we do, and it's going to be a massive culture shock for them. And it's, you know, they've been given time to actually like pick and choose the things that they're going to be releasing and have cosmetic tested and things like that. I think they're kind of mirroring our rules here a little bit more, just to be a bit more regulated, a little bit safer and things, which, you know, this safety is you know, it is what it is, and it keeps people safe. So, but yeah, I do really feel bad for them, and it's like it's going to make or break people. It really is.
I see a lot of them selling worldwide as well, and I think, well, are you doing it right? Like you don't want to say anything, but there are, you know, that sell worldwide, and they're obviously using fragrance oils at the 5% that they can in America. But then if you're going to sell it to the EU or the UK, you need a special range with only 3% or less, because
and you
can't sell that 5% soap to us. So there's so much to consider, and I think maybe if all the cosmetic regulations align around the world, then it does make it easier to sell worldwide.
Yeah, definitely.
Although I know soap isn't a cosmetic in the US, or not classed that way.
No. And Shantine from Soap and Clay, she was talking about that's a possibility, that once the cosmetic side of things goes through, soap could possibly follow suit as well. So it's it's scary times for them, but I think with soap, it's for them, it's going to be a long time before that's taken place, that it's, you know, all regulated like us. But definitely for their cosmetics and things,
a lot of changes, especially if it ends up costing them money for safety reports and stuff, because
absolutely
that's barrier to entry for a lot of people. It's just so expensive to start a business like this, which is why I always say to people, start with a small range, because it just gets out of hand really quickly.
Oh my gosh, doesn't it? Oh, I want to do all of the things, all of these ideas.
And debts will cripple a business. Because when I first started, my first business was selling braiding hair, like multicoloured braiding hair. And I was going fine for a while, and then I got a really aggressive competitor. Hi, if you're watching. Hi! Up selling the business to them in the end. They're very nice people. You just do what you have to for your own business, and we laughed about the things we did.
Of course.
But they obviously had more money than me, and they were expanding faster, and because it was a fairly generic product, the only way you could really compete was either on price or your range of colours. And so I took out loans, and I just tried to get as many colours as I possibly could, and it just spiraled out of control really, and you're in the end you're paying out more for the loans than you're bringing in, and it just, you know,
absolutely
lessons were learned.
I did that. Yes, I have been there with that. Not the hair, but the soap and cosmetics. Oh wow, that's and probably actually I've done that many a time with all of the previous things that I've done as well, other beauty stuff and other different ventures that I've gone down, and because I want it now. Those good old credit cards, and then they kick you in the butt later on down the line, so do not recommend.
Yeah, especially if you're buying cosmetic ingredients. I think, like, if you're going to do that, then make sure you're not overbuying, because you spend £100 on ingredients and then you don't use them all, and then that £100 is just going in the bin or down the sink or whatever.
Absolutely, literally down the sink.
One of the things that a lot of people struggle with is USP, like being unique, because of, especially with all the flexi assessments that we have over here, which, if you're not in the UK, that's basically a pre-written recipe with different variations that you can use. So you can use a certain number of fragrances, a certain number of colours, and it's done for you. It's already assessed. That means you can buy an assessment cheaper than you would otherwise get it, because they make their money back through volume. With everyone doing that, they have to find sort of ways to be unique within that, because there's a lot of people with the same formula, and it's difficult.
It is. It's very tricky, and that's where I think, I mean, especially like some people like me and you, where we want to have our own formulation, we are kind of on the back foot a little bit, because we want to be different. We want to have our own recipes or formulations, and then we end up having to pay extra for our own thing, which is restrictive in how we can design things, how we can fragrance them, how we can, whatever it may well be. It's not like we can say, right, this is our list of soap ingredients that we can use, and this is all of the fragrance oils and all of the colours, and then if one day I wanted to make a tea tree soap that was pink, I could, and then the next day it's green. We can't do that. It's that variant is that variant forever. You've just got to be creative in the design and with the ingredients that you've been allowed to use. And the flexi assessments are great for you to be able to play with different designs, and you can do that. This pineapple's whipped soap is orange today and pink tomorrow. So you could do that, which is really great for those first starting out. But for those who really are serious in formulating and wanting their own ingredients and products out there, it's tricky, and it will cost more in the long run if we want different variants for different. It's sad, but
it's kind of, you design something
are great.
And they're a good entry thing, and I mean, I've used them before and everything, and I mean, people like the products. They're good products. It's just, I find a lot of people get worried because they'll all use the same jars for the whip soap or whatever, and then they make their labels, and then one person at a market is selling them for $3.99 and someone else is selling them for $10.99, and you're like, oh
yes.
So
that's
it's
all very
finding a way to
interesting
compete.
when you walk around the market. Absolutely.
I think people need to look at sort of adding value in different ways and changing up packaging. Things like that.
For me, thankfully, because I've got that USP of sort of aiming more towards those with sensitive skin, that's where I kind of come, where I'm slightly different from others, and I do use my own formulations in a lot of my own things. So it's tricky when you do have somebody who's just using the flexi stuff, the flexi assessments, and they are selling it at like a €5 jar, and you're like £9. You're like, oh, okay. But you just have to remember that you are the USP, not just the product itself. So I have people coming to me to come and see me, which is really nice. As well as no, it's really lovely. Like, they come and have a good old chat with me, like, how are you doing today? Oh.
That's markets, isn't it? That's
building relationships.
That can also help
so
with
important.
If people want to get into shops and things, I suppose, so you get seen by people. And so you started a YouTube channel how long ago? Do you remember?
Oh wow, I really don't. Maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't think I've not made as much of effort with it as I should.
Do you remember what was your decision? Why was your decision to start?
It was because I made my first soap. No, I made soap a couple of times. Yeah. But I made one that looked really cool and I wanted to film it.
Yeah.
And then I filmed it and I was like, that's really cool. What do I do with it now? I want to show people. So I put it on YouTube.
And it started.
And it did. Yeah. And I've been filming ever since, making at least my first batch of soaps and things. And forever, many of them have stayed on my phone. I filled up many a memory card.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got videos dating back goodness knows how long that need to be dropped into the YouTubes. So I never had a schedule. I think I just put it on there for me, and because
it's less stressful.
I liked looking back. Yeah. So I mean, it's amazing that people watch, and amazing that people comment, and it's that validation sometimes that when you're feeling a little bit what am I doing with life? It's nice to get those comments and everything back, and the likes and all of those things. Although it's not about the numbers and stuff, but sometimes the numbers actually do give you a little bit of a woohoo, yay! But yeah, mainly they're on there for me to remember how I did the soap and how I made the thing. Yeah. But yeah, sadly there's lots of them on the phone that need to come up and onto the YouTubes. It has to happen. I promise I'll do it.
I started doing mine because I kind of regretted not filming my previous business. I've got like one little video and some photos, and that was it. But we had so much fun until I closed it. And I wish that I had sort of log documentation of that. And so I'm trying to do that now, as camera shy as I am. But
you're doing great, though.
I think you get used to it. The longer you're on it, the sort of better you get. Because I used to put off YouTube years ago, and when I was thin and felt better about myself. But instead waited until I was 40 odd to do it. And, but I think I care less now. So it's easier
that's the
in that
brilliant
respect.
thing. Yeah,
it's freeing. I think it is. When you stop caring what others think,
is so much nicer.
Yeah. Plus, I was saying to the other girls in the other chat that the community, this community, is like mostly very nice. It's very rare that we get watch. We'll get some horrible comments now I say this, but it's rare that we get nasty comments. Yeah. So it's a nice community to do, and that's why I'm doing these chats as well, because I kind of want to bring the community together a little bit, and also just sort of because I get a lot of business questions, just kind of showcase other people that are doing it and how they're finding it and their stresses and their tips and advice. So do you have any tips and advice for anyone starting out?
So don't do what I did and credit card everything.
Good advice.
That is the biggest thing. Start slow. Start small. It's not a race. It is the cliche of it's a journey, and just the joy of the process and learning everything as you go along, the design, how things come out, the excitement when you cut into a loaf of soap and you squeal at just how it came out, and even if it's the lows, you take the learning from the things that may not have gone to plan, and it's just enjoy it. It doesn't have to be the be all and end all. You can pivot quite a lot in this in this sort of community, and just make sure you do things right from the very beginning. So research, but enjoy the stuff as well. Make and play, and just create for you to start off with. Make what you want and what you love, and then from there you can grow. There's no point in making anything that you're not going to enjoy using and making, because you're not going to want to make it. I did that a lot, and I wanted to go all out with all of these different things, and then I put loads of pressure on myself to remake these things that I didn't really like doing, and then the joy just started to dwindle. So when you get to
and
that
customers
point, strip
notice
back.
that as well.
Oh,
I think,
yeah,
like,
absolutely.
if you've got passion for what you're making and you enjoy it, then the customers will see that. It will come through.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you've got a product on your table that's, that you couldn't really care less about, and then you've got this thing that you've created and you're really excited about, when you're talking about the two things, your energy is going to be completely different, and your customer's going to know that for sure, and they're going to go for the thing that you're passionate and just love, rather than this thing over here that you just you could do without. So that's my advice, is just enjoy the process, enjoy the creative side of things, make good notes. The amount of times I had made stuff before and I'm like, I'll remember that, I'll write that down later, and then no, I don't actually remember any of it, and then have to start from scratch. I'm like, nuts.
I make notes of notes, but then I have a million bits of paper everywhere with scribbles on that I either can't read or can't find. So there's that.
Which is why I also film stuff, so I can see what I've put in there.
The other thing I was going to ask is, so being in the UK, you're probably used to this as well, is space to work from is at a premium. And
yes, it is.
Having spent perhaps aren't that big or whatever, how do you work now? Where are you working from?
I am in my tiny little room. This is a spare bedroom that we have converted, we as in me and hubby, have converted into a semi-kitchen.
Right.
So I have kitchen worktops, kitchen under cupboards. IKEA is my best friend. So all of the shelving, this is all John Axel and Bo Axel. We love an IKEA. I've got John Axel. So in front of me, I've got the John Axel like drawer system. And that's where my soaps are all cured. And because they're mesh, they're ventilated, so I can cure my soaps nicely. So my worktop is like an L shape around me, and then I've got the ingredient shelves, curing shelves, and then storage underneath. It is
quite a small space, is it?
Yeah, it's smaller than a gazebo.
Okay.
So it's less than 3x3.
Wow.
So 10x10 for Americans, but it's a tiny room, but I utilize every single inch of it, and have a clear out as often as I can, because I accumulate and stuff. My storage for I'm looking at it now, it's not glamorous. So my storage for all my products, they are clear plastic clip tubs, and each thing, so whether it's a bath bomb or whatever, they've got their own individual tubs. And so packing an order is not easy, because it's not like I've just got them all lovely and displayed in clear plastic tubs.
True,
and I can just pick from them.
Easy when you go to markets though, because you can just pick
Oh, so easy. Literally, like everything that's there, and it's in the hall. So I will literally grab all of those tubs and throw them in the van. So there's no like taking things off of shelves and stuff. So that's a bonus. That's a nice silver lining. I like that.
It is. See, look at the bright side. Getting tangled in cables here.
Oh no.
I mean,
I wish I had a basement or something.
See all these people with basements. It's it's not fair. We don't really have those here, do we?
No,
very rarely.
Very rare.
But we had a 2-bed flat before we moved, and I had the spare bedroom in that, and it wasn't particularly big. This is probably twice the size of that, but still quite small, and I keep sort of wrestling with how to lay it out. It can be done from a spare bedroom, so we're testament to that.
Can. Yes, we are, absolutely. And what's really good about it is that if I don't want to do anything, I can go downstairs and just, sit and
shut the door,
whatever. And then if I fancy going and making a soap, because, the spark happens and I've got an idea, I can just come upstairs and do it. And that is amazing. I love being able to just do that, because otherwise I'd have to, if I didn't do it here, it would be a unit elsewhere, and I'd love one. but then I would have to have the motivation to get up and then go to said unit or spend all day at the unit, and then it's at least this way I can have a really nice work-life balance and just play when I want to, which is great.
See, I used to do the unit thing, but it was when I did the hair, because obviously you couldn't do cosmetics from it, but it was one of those self-storage units, because they were cheaper than hiring an actual business unit. So we just had a self-storage thing that I had plug sockets fitted into, and then we just worked from there, and it was freezing.
Wow.
Absolutely freezing. But if you're not selling cosmetics and you're selling just normal products, then it's a good, well, it was a cheaper option. It's not necessarily now. Everywhere's ridiculous now.
It's so expensive. I've looked at many a different type of unit, boatyard kind of big units where they don't charge that much, but then it's the work to try and get it to a point where it's usable and hygienic to work in, to small office spaces, but then like this is not really appropriate for a small office space, but nothing has ever been quite right. There was a shop once that had the most it was massive, and it was next door to a coffee shop, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing, we're going to do the thing. So let's do it. And sadly someone had got in there before me, and to be fair, it wouldn't have been the right time for me to do it, but I dream about this shop. It was a double fronted, the storage area at the back was amazing. You could split it in half and have a production side with a window showing what you're doing, and I had the plans of putting watch what SoPea's making today, and I had an idea of like writing what I was going to be making, have a bench sat outside so the summertime they could get the coffee from next door, watch what I'm making from the window. I had all of the plans. And it was so inexpensive. It was like less than £300 for this double fronted. I know, and I was like, I need to get this, and I inquired, and they're like, we've already got someone. I'm like, no. It was a 6-year lease as well though, so that was massive at the time, and I'm like, as much as I probably would have stayed there, it was a long
get anything for that. I mean, you'd be lucky to get a shed for that.
It was massive
up here, because we're sort of on a train line, direct train line to London. It is expensive around here, like ridiculously so. So I think if I wanted I think it was 100 square foot storage unit, it was upwards of £400 a month. So like for actual premises, I'd be looking at well over 1,500 to 2,000, and it's just makes no financial sense at this point.
No, not at all. I mean, you have to find that before you even switch the lights on.
I mean, for shops, I mean, they're like 100 grand a year, some of them around here.
Madness.
And they're not that big, and it's just, who can do that? No wonder the high street's just becoming coffee shops and pound stores.
Yes, and then you'd still have to find some place to actually make the stuff, because for a tiny shop, you can't make in such a tiny space and sell in a tiny space as well. That's why we do things at home.
Is that soap behind you that I can see on your cutter?
Yes, this is.
Let's see what you've made. Oh, that's cute.
So this is the soap that has the honey in. So when the honeybees get busy, it'll be going into this soap, which is really cool. So it's lemon and what is it? So lemon essential oil, activated charcoal. It's mica, and then we've got some little like pollen granules on the top as well. And you've got the honey on the inside, a little bit of a mica line. And then
I like that.
What else? Oh, this is one of the ones that would be extremely expensive.
Right.
Because I've got so this is the one where I've gone all extra with the cosmetic assessments. So yes.
Oh, cool.
Is that better? Yeah.
Like a rainbow.
So it is my rainbow soap.
Yeah.
So with a cute little melt and pour cloud on the top. Yeah. So because it's got 6 colours plus titanium dioxide and the fragrance and the melt and pour little doodad cloud on the top. Yeah, that is one of the expensive cosmetic assessments because it's gone above that 5 ingredients that they allow you to have as a standard. But I was like, I love it so much, I don't care. And I've got a couple of other ones, like this is I don't know if you can see it properly. So it's got melt and pour embeds on the top, and because it's a separate soap or whatever, it's a different base. You've got to pay extra for that as well. So it's trying to balance it out. I don't charge any different for it because it's the initial expense and it's the thing that I love. So, and over time that initial expense becomes minimal.
It evens out, I think,
when you're making more. Absolutely. So I love it so much, and it's baby powder, and it's just
See, I was experimenting because, I mentioned about the fragrances not smelling enough. The ones that I really want that I can't get to work in cold process, I've been making sort of melt and pour and then cutting it into cubes and then adding it to cold process. So you sort of get you get the scent still, but then you still have like the nice luxurious feel of the cold process.
I love that.
And it works reasonably well. Apart from that meat soap that I accidentally made. Don't know if you saw that.
I've done one of those. I've done actually many of those.
I'm going to get it quickly. I put
it's
melt
still
and pour.
Pretty. Oh, that's cool. It does look like chunks of ham.
Yes.
Like the tinned chopped ham that you
Yeah.
Oh, and it is very pretty,
didn't
though.
Look like that while I was making it, but then it looks like bacon with chopped ham.
I made at Christmas time, and I've still got. I don't know. Have I still got it now? I don't know. I'll have to have a look. I'll send you a picture of it to put on because it's in a place I can't grab it.
Cool.
I made a mulled wine soap, and this was. I was experimenting as I do, and I put real wine in it, and I put in all of the spices and everything else, like properly made a mulled wine thing, and it seized, and I was frantically trying to get it into a mould. I'm just thinking about it now, that it just looks like tinned beef. So you got the beef. I was trying to go for like a really nice burgundy swirl and like to make it look really lovely. And I had a bit of titanium dioxide in there as well. I can't remember what that was for, but it it just all ended up looking a bit like just meat in a can with the fat layer that you get on the top.
Oh God!
From like, what's it called? Corned beef. That's what it looked like. Corned beef.
Oh no!
Smells amazing.
Yeah,
but it's hideous.
It's the red and pink colours, isn't it? You have to be so careful.
Yeah, Christmas time. I was talking about it in so I've got a video going up on Saturday. First time in a year. Yay, go me! So I've got this video going up, and I talk about how I am worrying about it turning into meat soap because of the colours and the design and everything that I was going for. And I was talking about how Christmas time is the time of meat soap because we're all trying to do that really cute peppermint swirl, so the white face and the red swirl and everything. And it very rarely turns out like a nice peppermint swirly soap. It's the time of year for meat soap.
Yeah, it is. I have a mental block when it comes to soap designs as well. Like if I'm using a particular fragrance, then my mind just goes to the colour of what that should be rather than trying to think of some cool design.
So I go to my fragrances first, and then that idea pops into my head. And I think that's probably where my problem is. It's because I have so many fragrances, and then all of a sudden these designs just pop into my head. And like, I've got to gather all the things, make all the things.
What was your beach and sea soap scented with?
That was Ocean Breeze. So it literally was. So the scent is what it looks like. Yeah. So it was a really nice, just fresh, clean, ozonic kind of scent that had I don't know whether you know, but like salt has a smell, and it actually had the scent of salt in it as well, even though there was none of that in there. But it just had this really lovely, it's just really fresh and lovely, and it just took me to the beach, so it just had to be done.
The other thing I was going to ask is about bath bombs, so I've been experimenting with loads of recipes, and I've got one that works, and it's fine.
Good.
But I was like, what if I use this recipe and I do the cling film thing, and what if I do this and do that and everything? And I've posted the fails because they were so hilarious.
Your videos crack me up. They were so fun to watch.
I get not everything can be a success, and I just thought they were brilliant. Every time I came to check on them, they'd just kind of done that.
I've done that, yeah.
They still performed brilliantly in the bath, though.
Yeah.
They just hardened into this thing. But what are your top tips for people making bath bombs for sort of success?
So I don't know why, but I decided I'm never using water in my bath bombs.
Okay.
People use water as a binder. I absolutely do not. I use 70% rubbing alcohol. It's got a water content in there anyway. Yeah. So it's enough to be a binder, and that works for me. Obviously everywhere around the country is going to be completely different, but for me and the humidity that I have here, which I don't measure, I just kind of I kind of feel it out. And you know, it's actually feeling the mix and everything as well. The 70% rubbing alcohol has been fantastic for me. Just finding a good recipe, sticking to it. You just spritz
it as it until it gets to the texture you want, basically. Is that
exactly?
Yeah.
So
you don't have a set amount.
So I do have a set amount that I put in initially into like the liquid ingredients, because I know that I need at least that amount for it to come together.
Okay.
But as I'm obviously with rubbing alcohol, it evaporates, so I will spritz as and when it's needed, just to bring it all together again. And the great thing about using rubbing alcohol as well, or isopropyl alcohol, is that if you do put too much in, just keep mixing, and then it does evaporate a little bit, and it kind of comes back. Because sometimes it's if you put too much liquid in, there's no going back. You kind of a bit stuck.
That's a good point, actually.
And so for me anyway, that's how it's worked, and they're always rock hard. If the humidity is off, sometimes I'll get a fail, and actually that's fine, because we just smash them up into bubble rubble like there's no tomorrow. And nobody knows. I actually make bubble rubble intentionally. So I'll make beautiful unicorn bath bombs, and then we pick the ones that I've maybe made a bit of an error with hand painting, and then we'll go, right, you and you, smash, smash, smash. And we call it unicorn smash. Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah, especially if the bath bomb gods are not on your side. You can be like, well, stuff you. Smash them up, and nobody is any the wiser.
I saw in your video, and I'll post that here as well, like you had a cool tool for making bath bombs.
Oh,
you see all these people with bath bomb press, and then I've got the spheres, but you have this thing. So what's that?
So that, goodness me, have I got it in here? Here we go, hang on, bear with. So that video is years old, and I don't use it anymore, and I don't know why, because actually it's really kind of handy. So this
less messy.
It's brilliant. It makes the perfect size bath bombs, and it's a snowball maker. I got it from eBay for about £5, and you just pack it in like you would do, shove a little bit of loose mix on there, squeeze it, knock it, and then pop it out. It's amazing. So I don't use this anymore, but I keep it for a bit of nostalgia.
It actually looked really easy to do.
It's cute.
Far less messy.
It is. It was. I'm doing less round bath bombs and more shaped bath bombs now, so they're more of the 3D printed, like vacuum molds. Those ones. So that's kind of like the direction I'm going. The only ones really that I have that are the round ones anymore is like my naked range, which is the unfragranced coloured range.
In your videos, you come across, you're quite like me, you're tidying up as you go along. I can't bear mess. I do it when I'm cooking as well. Like if there's any, like I'm clearing up ingredients before I've finished using them. Like it just, I can't work in a really messy space.
I sadly do work in a very messy space. I have to clean it before I start. No, it's all fake. It's all for aesthetics. I've got to a point now where I'm like, I literally don't care if it's messy on the video. It's real and true life, and I'm not going to stress about a little bit of soap batter that's spilt on the side. I'm just going to carry on, because actually the longer I spend cleaning up, my batter is starting to thicken up, man, and just get it in the mold quickly, unless you've got a really good, well-performing fragrance oil that gives you that extra time. No, most of the time they're very naughty and they don't let you play.
Have you got any suppliers nearby? Or do you have to
I do.
So you can actually visit them?
Brilliant. I can, yes. So only one that I'm aware of anyway. They're called Live More, and they are the most loveliest people you will ever meet. I remember when they first opened up here, or at least when I first discovered them, I was making these little scrubby sugar cubes, and I needed beeswax for it, and I didn't have enough beeswax for the mixture that I'd made. I'd completely just not measured anything correctly. I was like, oh no, I need to get the beeswax. So I've searched online, found them, that they were in Plymouth, and I'm like, oh, they're in Plymouth. Can I come and collect it now, please? Oh my God, I need to get this done. And they're like, we don't normally do it, but okay, you can come. So they let me come and collect my order, which was brilliant. But they've moved units now, and they allow collection. So I'm up there all the time. They're a brilliant mica supplier, fantastic prices. Their fragrances are just, they're really, really lovely. Nothing is too much trouble with them. It's brilliant.
It's just for fragrances, actually, just to be able to go and smell them without having to order £1 million worth, just to smell something in your mouth.
That's a great idea. I should spend a day up at Livermore just smelling everything. That would be brilliant.
Do you do fragrance tests, or do you just try them out in a whole loaf?
I just try them. Yeah, because I mean, like I say, chef's perks. I'll use it at the end of the day. It's not, it's not like it's going to go to waste. And yes, one loaf might be 16 bars, but there's enough time in my life to use it. But thankfully, I don't know what it is, but I seem to have a knack of being able to choose the right fragrance, or choose a fragrance that works. So majority of the time it works and it's fine. And then I haven't got lots of chef's perks to worry about. Like, what am I gonna everybody's getting meat soap for birthday and Christmas.
Do you have go-to places for your fragrances? Are there particular places you like above others?
So I'm looking at them now, and I've got some behind me. Candle Shack, their mocha fragrance. Oh my God, I don't know what it is, but their fragrances are really complex and lovely and strong. I love them. Absolutely love them. There's so many gorgeous fragrances. Essakane, so they used to be called Pure Life. Fantastic. Really good. They're really good for nice basic smells as well as some complex ones. So if you want a really good bubblegum fragrance, if you want a good, like any of the sweet kind of ones, amazing.
Live and More, do they discolour?
They've got some of them do. So soap wise, yes, obviously you've got the vanillin content and everything in them, so they will. But sometimes you just work with what you've got. Adding your titanium dioxide, work with the discoloration. If it's a candy floss, that's going to turn a bit brown. It's got a lot of vanillin in there, so you just throw in loads of mica. Lots of titanium dioxide, lots of mica. And the Candle Shack one, the coffee one, it's because it's got like there's a lot of caramel fragrance in there, so that will go almost black. So there's titanium dioxide in there. There's other things in there as well to combat it. So it's a lot to learn. And shout out to Soak Rochford as well. They've got some really lovely fragrances. Their watermelon.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so nice. Their watermelon fragrance.
Yeah.
Delicious.
There's some lovely ones. It's just, you know, what works in soap is going to have to be the one I go for.
Yeah. And there are a couple of companies that I've used before that I won't go back and use again. I've learned all of that in my early days when we put everything on credit card. But, you know, there are certain places that just don't have as high quality as, you know, as others, and the price does reflect the quality as well, unfortunately.
It does. And customer service as well. And again, shout out to Soap Rochford for that, because you don't think I've ever had better. But if you're not getting good customer service, or you can't get hold of anyone when you have a query, that is a bit worrying. It's more worrying in our industry, because we've got paperwork and all this stuff attached to whatever we're buying. We need to know that they're reliable, and we can continue to get that thing going forward. And it always worries me if I've got a question then I don't hear back for a week. It's like, no. Okay.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And Essican Pure Life, they are literally an email away. And he even called me the other day, and we had a really good chat over the phone. He showed me Math Cosmetics. They use Math Cosmetics in some of their things, and I had never heard of them before until he said. And he was like, just go on, give it a try and all the things. And absolutely incredible. Their customer service, Math Cosmetics, amazing. I had so many questions, because obviously it was a new company that I was going with, and had so many new things that I wanted to bring in, and I had a budget, and I blew it a little bit, but it was worth it, because honestly, I did.
How did I know you were going to say that?
But it was a budget that I'd saved, so it wasn't a credit card budget. So I'd saved this for a long time, and I did go over it a little bit and went into my personal savings, but that was fine for the service and for the amount of assessments that I got. Absolutely priceless. And he even gave me a discount code, and I didn't even ask for it. I was like, what are you doing? So having that customer service and that personal relationship with your suppliers is brilliant, because if I didn't have that conversation with Paul from Pure Life, I would never have discovered math, and I probably wouldn't have got anywhere near as many assessments as I did. It opens up doors when you've got really good communication with your suppliers, and being able to share that knowledge with other makers as well is brilliant.
So have you had to have everything reassessed?
Thankfully not everything, but it's all of the things that I wanted to do extra. So it's all the new stuff. Some of the old stuff as well, but things slightly tweaked. So where I wasn't quite happy with certain things, I mean, I was obviously clearly very happy at the time, but as my knowledge has grown for this industry and how I want things to feel, and the feedback that I've got, just reformulating different items, I've put those in for reassessment, so when they come, and then I can start sending out all of the new things. I'm very excited.
It'd be nice when all that's done. When you've got all the admin done, just the feeling of relief.
Oh, can't wait for that moment.
I'm looking forward to getting all this released. It's just it'll be a bit of a long road yet. Just deciding on the finished products and then filming everything.
It's tricky to narrow down like your product line, because you just want to do all of the things and get it all done in one go, and you know, you don't want to launch with just one thing. You want a mixture of different things, so that people can not just buy one product from you, they can gather lots of different goodies together. Fully understand wanting all of the things right now. It's tricky to decide.
I try to get all my soaps assessed in one go, and then I'll release like 5 or 6 at a time, and then hopefully that assessment then will last me the year, and then I'll get a new one and do it that way or something. Because there are other products I want to release, but some of them contain water, which involves challenge tests. I don't know if I quite want to go down that road yet.
I would love to go down the route of being able to talk to people about all of the regulations and things, but it's a lot, so it's really lovely that that's like almost your hyper focus, that it's you're really good at it and going through each thing step by step with all of your templates and stuff. I absolutely love that. And whenever I get stuck on something, I'm like, Rebecca, let's go.
I think it's just because I wish that I'd had it when I started. So because I made it all for myself, and just like, let's help some other people with it, because it is a nightmare. But of course now I've created a rod for my own back, because now I have to keep on top of all the regulations so that I can pass them on. Every time I get something in the post, I will date it with my little ticker tape label.
That's cool. Because
I love so many manufacturers don't put a date on. There's no best before or no use by on ingredients, and I think it just infuriates me. I think Aromantic do, which is great. I think the SoPea do.
The SoPea do, they're fantastic. Essicane, for their fragrance oils, on the label it's got their batch code and it's got the use by date and everything. It's brilliant. So there's a couple of really good ones, but there's a lot, sadly, that don't do it, and they just literally throw the raw ingredient into a bag and then put it in the post, and it's like, what batch did this even come from? What even is this thing that I've just bought? And you're like, oh no, I've just bought 5 kilos of this, what is it?
Oh, God. So I stick with the same places now.
I do. I've tried as well, massive range of different places, and you just get a feel of it when it comes through, like how it's packaged, like how professional it is. There's a couple of companies that I had got micas from in the early days, and I was like, can you send me through the MSDS and all of the stuff? And they were like, the what? And I'm like, okay, I would not be using you.
Can
I have a batch number? No. Just, like, okay. You're not somebody that, not a place that should be doing it for cosmetics.
Well, that's the thing. I think a lot of people, they'll sell stuff for craft, and then they'll not realise that there's all these regulations. They just don't know they exist. So, but
that's the thing, isn't it? Is that there are some people that will just sell these things for the craft, and then there will be makers that will go and get micas and glitters and whatever else from the craft people, that they don't have these. They're not set up for the regulations for that.
I get a few people message me, and they're like, oh, I've got essential oils from this place, but they won't give me the allergen sheet and stuff, and they're buying from a company that's selling sort of essential oils for spa type things. It's not for cosmetic use. It's like sold as a finished product. So you need to make sure you're getting them from an ingredient supplier so that you can get all the documents, especially with essential oils, because they can be a bit dangerous if not used correctly.
They can. Surely essential oils are safer to use than fragrance oils. And then you're like, okay, no, I can't just put 2% of this in there, because actually, like spearmint essential oil, it's like 0.0 something or other you're allowed to put in certain types of products. And I'm just like, who knew? But it's interesting.
That's one thing I wish that UK companies would do, that I see a lot of the American companies doing, is when you have a fragrance oil on the bottle, it'll tell you exactly how it reacts in soap, and just all the information you could possibly want is there. Whereas over here, it is so rare that you find that. So if anyone is selling fragrance oils over here, then please do that, because it would help a lot.
Please take a leaf out of the Americans for that, because they do really well with that kind of thing. Or at least please make it really clear on the front page of your, the website to.
And if you're leaving a review for a fragrance oil on a website, don't just say it smells great. Because that's really not
helpful. No, because your nose is different to my nose, and what you like is maybe not what I like. So I need to know how well that performs in soap. Has it actually gone through saponification and it survived? Does it make it react? And does it rise? We need to know these things, and we don't get that kind of review. And it would be great if
we get that.
Maybe
smells
if our
amazing.
Fragrance companies could do some tests and tell us about that. That would be great. And the reviews would be fantastic if they were a bit more in depth.
Maybe people just don't want to give it away if they like something and it works for them, they don't want to tell us. There's the whole gatekeeping thing, and in one respect, I share lots of information with people and help people along, but there are things that people shouldn't be expecting, because especially when I was searching for suppliers in China for my old business, or in fact all over the world, and it takes so much effort to find things sometimes. To just give that away for free, I think people need to be willing to put in a bit of effort themselves as well.
Definitely, yeah. And then when somebody comments on your soap video saying, "Where's the recipe?" Well, it's in my brain. I am sharing with you my creative process. This is not a teaching experience. I am not giving you a recipe. You've not provided me with anything that will, not even any conversation, just where's the recipe? Like it's your right to have access to my brain and my ideas and all of the years worth of formulating the perfect something. No, that doesn't happen.
I just ignore that now, because I can't be bothered. Like, the people that take my videos for what they are, then that's great. I love those people. I'm happy to share things with those people, and I think there's a lot of
shared recipes for free with friends and stuff, and
I used to share them for free on YouTube. All my recipes were free initially, and it was fine. But then I started getting some people basically stealing them, and they had created courses with all of my formulas from YouTube and were selling those courses in their country. And I'm like, well, these aren't finished recipes. These aren't like sale ready formulas. These are like me experimenting and showing you my learning journey. So I then felt a bit like, okay, well, I have a responsibility to the people you're now selling to protect them from thinking that these are finished. So I started putting all the formulas on Patreon and saying, well, if you want the formula, go to Patreon, because then I feel that you're more serious about it. And
you're a very comprehensive formulator, which is really good. So I have no doubt that what you've created previously and shared for free on your YouTube is absolutely fine and safe. But there is that element of, if someone puts in just the slightest 0. something% different to what you've got, and that your testing has been fine, that could really hurt someone, whether it causes a reaction, makes them sick in whatever way, or just ends up being a crappy product, at the end of the day. It's not worth it, is it? To put it out as a finished product and a course as well, where they're making money from it. No, that's not good.
Tara said the other day in one of her videos that when you first start out, you feel like when you learn some stuff, you feel like you know everything, and then the more you learn, the more you realize you don't. And there's so much to learn about cosmetics, so much, and especially if we aren't cosmetic chemists and don't have the science and the maths background as well, it is just all experiments. Like, I think the questions that people ask me, I think they assume that I'm some lab scientist or something, and it's like, no, I'm at home and I've been learning this myself just through a lot of research, and it's just kind of learning where those reputable sources are. And there's a few YouTubers that I go to, but I understand that they're also learning. They just might be further ahead or further back on their journeys than me.
You just have to take everything with a pinch of salt, and then just make it your own.
You do.
And make sure it's safe, because there's nothing worse than somebody copying someone else's stuff, and when you see it out, like if you've not quite finished your finished product yet, and then someone who's got that extra buck that they can push that to market a lot quicker than you has just copied you outright. When you go and release yours, it then looks like that you're copying that person. It's like, actually, it's the other way around. You've got to be really careful with where you share stuff, how much you share, and it's sad, really, that you just can't be open on the internet and just have honest people sharing your journey of.
I think the best way to see it, if you get copied, just obviously call them out privately if you have to. If they do it again, then I'd consider calling them out publicly. But otherwise, I just tend to ignore it, because if they're the one copying, they're always going to be 2 steps behind anyway. So,
yeah.
You know.
But also take it as a massive compliment. Like,
well,
someone has thought that the thing that you've made is so cool,
worthy,
that they've got to release it as their own. You know, I don't mind taking a little bit of inspiration and ideas, and as long as you create your own thing with it, that's the main thing. Just don't go outright copying somebody else that's spent time, energy, money. Just so much time. So much money. And just the creative brain cells that go in behind it. So much money.
So much money. It's just the money.
So much money.
Well, I get this.
If they are going to do it, just credit the person. Just say, I got this idea from this person and I loved it and I've made it my own. That's fine. Or just ask me. Like, if you want to make a rainbow soap with a cloud embed on the top of it, you go right ahead. You know, I am probably not the first person to make a rainbow soap like this, or, you know, if I have, then really cool. But, you know, it's at some point coincidences are going to happen. But if you see that and you're like, hey man, can I take an idea from that? Fine, no problem at all. Just ask me. I don't have 5 heads. I'm not going to bite you.
Well, I get people ask, like, for dupes all the time, using the word dupe, sort of. You know, it's a dupe technically is where you've taken all of the ingredients that they've used and you've tried to use the same practices to make it, and blah, blah, blah. That's the true dupe. I suppose what we make is kind of inspired by. But I do get people asking me, can you make this? Can you make that? And it's like, I'd love to. But for example, when I made the Sol Janeiro Bum Bum cream dupe. So I tried to do that as exactly as I possibly could, which meant getting all of the ingredients they had. So I bought the cream. That was, I think, for the size I bought, was about £39. And then I bought all the ingredients, which you have minimum quantities you can buy on. So it probably cost me £100 to dupe that and make that video.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy,
and yes,
isn't it?
I have the surplus of all the ingredients, which I then use for other videos and other things.
Of course.
But just as an example to people asking me to dupe stuff, there's a thank you button under you can
click thank you button. Thank you for all the lovely free things that she's done for you. Come on.
It's really
become
expensive.
a Patreon.
And then I did the 2 dupes with Tara recently, the 2 scrubs, and I had to buy the Tree Hut one, and I bought the Sol Janeiro one, and they're not cheap. The ingredients weren't cheap.
Really not.
So it's an expensive process just to do YouTube, let alone sort of doing all the other stuff, and it takes a long time to start paying itself back.
People don't realise that at all, do they?
Yeah. And that's when people sort of say, oh, how dare you, like, you just want to make money from Patreon. And it's like, well, yes, because if you want all these recipes and stuff, I need to buy ingredients.
Exactly. And you know, makers got to eat. You know.
Well, the food thing, yes. although you know, I do have meat soap, so.
Oh dear. Should come up with a food range.
It smells like strawberries and cream, so there is an upside.
Oh, there's a benefit.
It just looks like ham. Maybe there's a whole range in this, the meat range.
Oh my God.
And every time you make a meat soap, just put it in that range, and then there'll be a demographic that likes that. Yeah, I'm sure.
Wouldn't it be interesting though if we still put that out as a saleable product, and if that then was more popular than all of the others? But it looks like meat. Are you hungry?
Thing is, we can't make things that look like food, can we? That's another regulation.
No, that is
nothing that imitates
and it's really
food.
sad. because I love making stuff that looks like it shouldn't be, and that's one thing. I get the comment all the time. Obviously my soaps are all very like pretty and decorative and stuff, and I go for a theme of the thing. So like with the coffee soap, obviously it doesn't look like a cup of coffee, but you know, I try and like embody a theme of some form. And when it's food or drink or something like that, I'll try and make it look a little bit like that along the theme.
Yeah.
But I get the comment quite often that my soap looks like fudge. And I'm like, no, it is not fudge. You cannot eat it.
There was...
It's...
What did I have? I used AI to generate a meta tag for something once. And it was a pink and white swirled soap. It didn't look quite as much like ham as that, but it said it generated the title of a slice of ham fudge on a plate. So it's like, okay, even AI recognized it as ham and fudge.
That's not...
So great. That's the trouble with soap, because it's a block. It just kind of, I mean, if anything, that's probably more like that coconut ice stuff, really, isn't it?
Oh yes. Yeah.
Which I really like.
But it's really sad that we can't like just make cupcake soaps and stuff. Again, like, Americans, you have no idea how good you've got it.
It's the world we live in, though, isn't it? I remember buying a ream of printer paper, and on the box it said, "Do not put in microwave." And you've got to think about that for a second and think, well, the reason they have that note there is because at some point someone has done that.
Done it. Oh man.
So, you know, if we did, you know, we're going to have to put "do not eat" on.
Yeah.
But that is the most widely commented thing on my TikTok page, because I do I did do the overflowing piped soaps, like really overflowing.
I love that. Yeah.
And everyone's just, I want to eat it.
Yeah, don't eat it. I have that all the time in my markets. Like, oh God, it smells so good. It smells amazing. I could eat it. I'm like, don't. It will make you want to because it smells delicious. But trust me, it's disgusting. Ask me how I know.
Yes. I mean, there's the bubble scoop thing. They kind of, technically, they look like ice cream. So are we allowed to do them? Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's actually a chef's perks from a swirl. But even a swirl one, like you could say that looks like cake. There's so many. It just depends on your interpretation of it, doesn't it? Really. I mean, I've got I do have a bath bomb that is a giant marshmallow, and it's like literally giant. You could not see. You would not guess that it was not food. Is that the right way around? You would.
Right.
You understand?
Yes.
It's not food. You would see that it's not food because it is a giant flump. And the chaos that my request made in the bath bomb mold company that when I requested it, was like, you can't make this, you can't do that. I'm like, it's giant. There is no flump that is this size, and no one is going to mistake a hard bath bomb that looks like a giant flump for food. It's like, if it's the size of and it resembles it to the point where it's easily mistaken, then understandable. But oh gosh, the chaos. And it all depends on your local trading standards as well. Some will be like, yeah, it's fine. Some will be like, no, 100% not. And that's a good thing, having a really good relationship with your local trading standards people to understand what they are happy with you, with what you're creating. So
a lot of people had to contact them, and I keep saying, like, just send them an email because they're really nice.
They're great.
And they'll answer all your questions, and sometimes they'll even come and calibrate your scales for you. So
that's
I think
really
people
cool.
are afraid to get a visit. Actually, it's quite useful.
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't have to be scared of it. As long as you are in the right direction of getting things right, they ain't going to come and just shut you down just like that. If you're in the early stages and you're trying to get everything all ready to go and you're doing the best that you can, they will just, as long as you're nice and you're not attitudey or anything with them, and you just embrace the visit. Yes, it can be scary, like any sort of regulatory visit of any kind in whatever industry you're in is scary, but just be nice and just say, can you point me in the right direction for all of these things? I want to get it right. And they will appreciate the honesty. Like, I don't know how to do this. Can you help me with X, Y, and Z thing? And they're fantastic. So it's just having that really good relationship with those people so that when it comes to full inspection at whatever other time later on down the line, they can see that you've made improvements. And that's, just make sure you're doing things right and asking questions and asking for help. We're all there
mostly
once.
If you've and mostly if you've got your trade approved scales and you've got you're following GMP, then
yes, absolutely,
you're fine.
Once
it's still better than having to do your accounts.
Oh my god, the account, that's a story for another day.
Someone was asking me about taxes, and so can you chat about taxes and accounting? And it's like, nope, I'm not an accountant. I have
Absolutely
an accountant.
Not.
Get an accountant. Best advice I can give you.
I mix between me and a friend who's very good at accounting, and I'm like, this is what I've done. Can you check for me? And they'll be like, yeah, that's fine. I'm just really fortunate. I've got lots of people that in different spaces that are better at the things that I'm not so good at. But
that's exactly what you should be doing. It's like put the tasks in the hands of the people that are good at those tasks. And if you don't have people for those tasks, then it is the best money you'll spend, because you'll save so much time. And actually, in accounting terms, you save money and you save stress. And right, well, I have about 2 hours to edit now.
Good luck.
So thank you for coming on and doing this.
That's my pleasure. Thank you very much for inviting me.
It's good to chat with someone in the UK, and sort of hopefully it's helped other people wanting to start a business here or sell here get a better idea of what it entails. See you guys later. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to go over to Chrissie's channel, which I'll link below. Subscribe and watch and like all her videos and all that stuff. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you want more business conversations, then I suggest you go and watch this video, which is me chatting to Tara and Jerica. And I'll see you in the next one.